Good evening and welcome to Tetrakey TV. Let me just move you down here a little bit. There we go. My name is Mark Hopkins and I would like to welcome you to number 178 Facebook Lives that we've done so far in 2017. You take a deep breath. It's like 178 performance conversations. It's nuts. I must admit, sometimes before these sessions, you forget sometimes what you've talked about, and you wonder what you're going to talk about tonight when you've done that many. But I hope I have come up with something that will stimulate some thought for you this evening, and hopefully add some benefit. First and foremost, I had an awesome day today. I ran a workshop with a group of very engaging and motivated sales leaders, and really challenged them to think about their role. This organisation is about to go into its busiest sales period of the year, and I spent time talking about connecting to something greater than results, which is going to be our conversation tomorrow night. There we go. I thought up tomorrow night's tonight's. Cheapers, Mark. So I better remember that. Connecting to something greater than results. But tonight, I'd like to talk about preparing for a storm. So you are at home, and weather's changing, wind's picking up, rain is starting to pelt, and that wind is rushing around. So you know a storm's coming. So what do you do to prepare for a storm? This happened last week. My boy and I were at home, and you can see the clouds went pitch black. Like I said, the wind picked up and I was like, boy, there's a storm coming. So we knew what the indicators were for this storm. Okay, so these are lead indicators. These are things that were telling us that something was approaching. So what did we do? Well, we had an assumption, and our assumption was that the electricity was going to go out. Okay, a storm's coming. It's a high likelihood that you're going to lose power. So, boy and I very quickly went round and got all our candles ready. We got them filled up. I went to get my camping torches. I got everything to make sure I got a torch put in my boy's room, a torch put in my room. I quickly got some food on in the microwave for the boy. And basically, we got all our preparation done. Storm hit and there goes power. No power. But we were prepared. The candles were lit, the boy was fed, and we had a phenomenal evening. Why was that? Well, he had a phenomenal... I wasn't so happy because he kicked my backside at Monopoly. So he had a great evening. I had a pretty average evening. Joking aside, it was phenomenal. There we were, father-son, spending wicked quality time together with candles around us, music playing, and playing Monopoly. So cool. And the reason it was so cool is we were prepared for this storm. We had everything ready before the storm hit. Now, in business and in life, we're not always that fortunate. We don't always know what is coming round the corner. We don't get those lead indicators like the clouds turning, the sky going black, the wind picking up, all these lead indicators that tell us something is happening. But what we do have is the ability, we do have the ability to start predicting some of the scenarios and situations that we can face both in our business and in our lives. And we can do a few things to talk about how we're going to handle them. I had a conversation with my boy's mum today, and we were talking about guardians. And Seth, my boy, has legal guardians, but his gran is incredibly close to him. Now, his legal guardians are in a different country to where Seth currently lives and his gran lives. So we had that preparing for the storm conversation. What are we going to do if the worst case happened and we both go? And the conversation was preparing us for an eventuality, and we are going to go and spend some time and actually understand what we want to do in those situations. Now, I'm not talking about preparing for a storm, hopefully not as drastic as that, but I'd like you to think about some events that could happen in your life and ask yourself, how prepared are you for them? Do you know how you're going to handle certain things? So do you know where your candles are, metaphorically? Do you know where your head torches are, metaphorically? And do you have them ready for when that electricity goes off and you are reliant on that? Do you have them ready? If not, I would start thinking about one or two things. And again, I'm not talking going hectic. I'm not talking go pessimistic and stuff. I'm talking practically in a business, in a life. If you're struggling for cash for 2 months, okay, so you're going to predict in 2 months' time, I feel that cash flow is going to be an issue. What can you do now that's going to protect you for that? Because again, you don't want to scramble at the last minute to pay, so you can actually protect you for that. So I'd like to think about 3 or 4 things in your life, in your business, that are the equivalent of a storm. And I'd like you to imagine that storm hits and your electricity goes out. You have no power at home. What have you done to prepare yourself for that storm? What have you done to prepare yourself for that storm? I think it will give you a level of comfort. So there's 2 things that could have happened when the storm hit us. Seth and I could have been scrambling around in the pitch black trying to find our way around. It would have been a disaster. And I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have had such a pleasant experience as I did that night because we were prepared for it. Candles were on, the Monopoly was going. I'm sure he must have cheated to beat me as I think about it. There's no way. How would you let an 8-year-old win at Monopoly anyway? But we were prepared and we had phenomenal memories, and we turned what could have been a storm into a teacup. It was brilliant fun. So you're going to be faced with challenges. The challenges are going to come when you're least expecting them. You're not going to be able to predict all these challenges. But what you can do is you can understand how you're going to react in certain situations. And those who've joined these conversations before, I did one about having a gun pulled at you, and how I reacted to that situation and that scenario. And I think part of it was because A, it happened a couple of times before, but B, I sort of knew what the storm was, and I sort of made a judgment call on what the output is and what sensors I was using to ensure that it came out in the way I wanted it to come out. So I'm hoping you're not going to think of anything as drastic as that. But I'd like you to go away and think about 2 things. So 2 things, just 2 storms that you can anticipate a little bit. And I'd like you to think about how you're going to prepare yourself for those storms. So with that, I'm going to wish you a phenomenal evening. Tomorrow night, I'm going to make a note of it. I'm going to talk to you about connecting to something more than just the results. So while we are chasing in business, we chase revenue, we chase profits, we chase cash, we chase customers, we chase results. We're going to talk tomorrow night about connecting to something greater than that, because I think if you connect to something greater than that, there's a completely different level of commitment that you're going to bring to your business and to your life. So that's what you've got to look forward to tomorrow night. But from that, I am now going to say goodbye, and I'm going to go finish the second half of editing our book. Which is very exciting. So that's my evening planned. I wish you all, wherever you are in the world, have a fantastic day, evening. I hope you're smiling. I hope you are achieving something. Actually, before I go, I'd like to share one more thing. And I just want to reiterate something that I said last night, because I told the story today and it had a real big effect. For those who watched last night, I told you about me landing in an airport yesterday and seeing a father walk with his son, toddler. And his toddler was buzzing and his dad was smiling and he was making the sign of the wings and they were having a great time. And I just looked at him, smiled and made a comment about how much fun he was. And I challenged you guys last night to spend today just trying, when you're walking, when you're interacting, just to build a connection. Build a connection with someone that you don't normally do. Look at somebody in the eye and smile. I've been doing that all day today. And maybe one or two people have thought I've been a little bit crazy. But to be honest, I don't care, because the majority have been smiling back. I've had awesome engagements with the lady where we had lunch today, and she was in a phenomenal mood and had a great chat about why she was in such a great mood. So I am so passionate about connections. I'm so passionate about communities, and I'm so scared about where we are going as a society, and we are losing the benefit emotionally, physically, spiritually about sense of communities. So I'd really like you to please keep doing this during the week. I'm going to do it. I'm going to try and do it every day for as long as I can. And I challenge you to do that as well. So there we go. We'll talk about connections again tomorrow. I wish you a fantastic day, and it is goodbye for me. Good night.